Good evening, Patriots. Welcome to the first ever episode of the Pink Patriot Podcast, live on the Kate Awakening channel. We have a great show for you this evening. We have the wonderful, splendid Judith Rose on with us tonight. And today has been a rather exciting day, has it not? Trump dropped some big news. Daddy Q's been dropping all day. Lots going on. Happy to be here with all of you today. Kate, you out there, man? You want to hear a funny story?
You know I always do.
Yeah, so I go out this morning, right? And I had my pyramid. I was charging it last night under the moonlight. I had it on top of a ladder outside. And the inspector comes out and he goes, are you trying to contact the ETs or what? I said, no, man, I'm just charging my pyramid, dude. And the look on his
that
face.
Makes more sense.
It was so good, dude. So good.
Oh,
it was
my
amazing.
God,
Right, I
love
was
that.
trying to contact the ETs with my pyramid. I thought that was amazing. So we know
The
that
inspector's hiding under his bed.
he thinks I'm totally weird, dude. That's confirmed now.
He knows you're totally weird.
I know. That's cool. So, how's your evening going, Kate?
Pretty good. Pretty good. You know me, just winding down, about ready for bed in about 5 minutes after we end.
Right. Yeah, you're kind of an old lady. That's true. All right,
bet.
well, shall we get this party started or what? The first ever Pink Patriot Podcast?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Pink Patriot Podcast, here we go. Episode number 1 with Judith Rose. I am Alara of Sirius. This is the Kate Awakening. And our guest today is the wonderful Judith Rose. She is the green-haired poster child of the Great Awakening now. Welcome, Judith. How are you?
Hello. I'm awesome. It's been such a time, but congratulations on starting y'all's show together.
Thank you.
Judith is tired because Judith has been everywhere.
I kind of have. So I'm
Which
sorry
is
if I sound
awesome.
a little burnt out, but I'm a little toasty. I'm a little bit tired after everything the last couple of days. It's been wild.
For sure. Well, if you feel like you need to, when that happens and you decide, hey, listen, I need to take a break for a couple days, you need to take a break for a couple days.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm like going to be out of town this weekend and all that stuff. I'm already on it.
Good stuff.
I'm like, whoo, time out.
I just wanted to tell you, Judith, like, truthfully, you've inspired a lot of us. I don't know how many people have told you that. I'm sure people have, but you've really inspired us because many of us are out there working for this movement every day. And it's like, we feel like we don't see much of the impact that it's having, you know? And I think that's why it hit such a chord and your stuff really went viral. It meant a lot to people to see that it was having an effect, that there's people actually waking up and realizing what's going on. And it's awesome. It's really cool to have you here today and be able to get to talk to you and hang out with you and, all that fun stuff.
Thanks. It's been really nice to hear all that. I appreciate it. I definitely love hearing that I'm helping people and that, like, that I'm making an impact, because I just had no idea, like, how far I would reach. So it's still kind of a surprise every time I hear it. I'd had no idea that this community was here. I was just kind of like putting pieces together at home by myself, with really nobody else around me, and just was getting information from a couple of TikTokers, and that was it. And then it just exploded, and there were all these people waiting for me, supporting me on the other side, and I was just like, oh wow. Like, it totally broke all my notions of what Trump supporters are, what QAnon is, and what we can really be as human beings, and how we really can, like, get along and coexist and have civil discourse and agree to disagree and help each other out at the same time. It's been really awesome.
Yeah, I love watching the whole the walk away movement and stuff like that, when just to see the outpouring of love that these people get, and that they aren't expecting it, and they really
Not at
think,
all.
like, yeah, that's really cool and inspiring.
Just like I was telling
thank
you
you.
earlier, Judith, the Patriots, are they know, I think many of them know, if not all of them know, that there's a lot of Democrats, there's a lot of people on the left that are full of love and just want to help and are good people. They just don't.
Yeah.
They're just, it's the propaganda from the media that has them, thinking they're
Misguided,
fighting for something.
yeah.
Right. Exactly. So,
it sucks because I was right there. I was going to BLM protests, and I was upset about injustice, about brutality, about and like I said, that kind of led me into the strangeness of the protests. And then when I was digging into Black history, I noticed that like in LA, the LA riots in the early 90s were kind of the same thing. There was a public execution on an election year, and it riled everybody up. They all went crazy, looting, burning, damaging buildings. And I was just like, so it happens kind of a lot, does it? Every 4 years, you say. And I was like, huh, and then I dug into like how violence was being incited and the piles of bricks that were being put out, and it's just all it takes is like one little push for mob mentality. It's just psychological warfare. So
is this
I
how
started
you woke
figuring
up?
that out.
Is this what woke
It's
you up?
definitely one of the things that led me to it, because like I quit my job in May, but I was still trying to like go out to these things. And then my boyfriend and I were like driving around downtown and just watching it, and I was like, this doesn't seem like this is ever going to stop. Like, they can't arrest everybody, but they can keep trying, and everyone's going to keep going out. And I was like, where does it end? What's the bigger problem here? Like, what needs to happen? And then I was feeling like something was off about the virus, and I also like I'm in general, I'm into conspiracy stuff. I'm into like UFOs, aliens, ETs, all that. So I was already open to other things, and that kind of led me to like World War II and JFK, and then what happened to like Operation Paperclip, and it all just kind of like fell out of the box at that point. And then I found Out of Shadows and Fall of Cabal, and that was pretty much it. And as I was like getting into all that, you can kind of tell in my TikToks, before I really came out and said it point blank, I was like posting kind of rants about how Epstein didn't kill himself, and that there are like, people who worship the devil, and then I was just like, what? Like, I'm just gonna say it. I noticed that Trump's fighting human trafficking, and that's probably why everybody hates him, And then that video I just dropped one day, didn't think about it. Somebody from Twitter grabbed it. I didn't even know her. Some bitch I know, Elle on Twitter, I believe.
Yeah. She's awesome.
So she's hilarious. And it just went off. So I was just like, what did I do? When I picked up my phone, and like after like a day, I was like, oh my God, they found the video. And I was like, oh, they really found the video. And and then it's still on TikTok, which is weird because they pull down every other thing that I do now. I'm so heavily shadow banned. I'm so censored on there, and like they stopped me from gaining followers for a while, and now it's just like creeping up, and every other thing I do gets like a fraction of the views that it probably should. I have 44,000 and a bit, and my views are getting like 1,000 or 2,000. I'm like, no.
They probably
have to come find you.
Yeah, that they probably left that up because it went viral and because it's bringing people over there. And and then they're like, whatever,
ironic.
Screw the rest of your content, but we'll use you to get people over here.
Yeah, very likely. And then my Twitter account went off in like a week, and then was suspended after like 3 weeks of that going on. And so it was all documentation of my awakening. Like, you could see who I was before, you could see the tweets that I was sending out, and then when I gradually was changing, I only had like 700 followers. And I was starting to post like Out of Shadows, and then just posting like weird stuff, even though it was originally like a music account. I just was like, whatever, who cares, and just went for it. And it's been really weird. So now I hate that that's not there for people to look at anymore. I'm sure they didn't want that to be on display, that that's possible. You know what I mean? That you can go from like deep anger on the left side to waking up and being like, everything is wrong, So it's probably a really big threat to them. So,
the biggest threat. It is the biggest threat.
Yeah.
So when you started to So you were looking into these things when you got onto Twitter, when you got onto social media. I know for me, I was like, I searched because Q was a big part of my awakening experience. So I did the hashtag QAnon and I started following a bunch of accounts. Did you even know who to follow, or were you just, no, you just...
I sort of like was blindly thrown into Q. Like I kind of just found out about it with everything else. Like within the same time period.
Good.
That was our code word, by the way. It said be quiet. So while she reset everything, everyone's like, what is happening?
I almost forgot. And then
yeah,
I was like,
it didn't quite work out as planned, but hey, you know.
Whatever.
Yeah, the audio adjustments. Okay, so...
Now they all know our code word.
Better than them thinking we're just sitting here silent, like we have to be
Kofefe.
We're robots.
I was just,
Sorry, Judith.
I got dropped into... It's okay. I got dropped into all of it really fast, like straight up Neo from the Matrix, just into my brain, and I was like, oh, I've missed out on a lot, you know, and that's just all happened to me literally since like May. I've been, getting as much information as I can this year, so I'm catching up.
You woke up about as quick as I did. Mine was abrupt too, like hitting a semi truck, just smack.
Like lightning, yeah.
Kate's too, here. Really, yeah.
Yeah, but when I once I woke up, I realized that all of this stuff that I was learning, my dad had been talking about my entire life, but I had just tuned him out. So my dad knew about most of these things, like
the bloodlines?
Most of these things. Bloodlines, obviously everything about Federal Reserve, just corruption in politics, how we're a corporation basically, and just everything,
So
yeah, that's intense.
I have a question for you, Judith. What would you say formed your early political ideology? What would you say had the most impact on that and formed that?
Well, it was just, I just went with the narrative, honestly, at the time. Right. I just took everything at pretty much face value. Because, I mean, growing up, I didn't know about any of the operations. I didn't know about, like, Mockingbird. You know what I mean? I heard some people mentioning 9/11 and all that stuff. But, you just kind of tune that stuff out, like Kate was saying. So I was like ecstatic about Obama. I thought it was progress, and I was like stoked. And I was like writing his name in my notebook in high school and shit. Like that level where I just thought, I took it at face value. He seemed like a really nice man who could speak really well, and he knew what he was doing. And I was like, cool, progressive, let's get it. And that was right around when I was voting age. That's when I really started to tune in. So. And then I thought Hillary was like a feminist icon, and, I was like, first female president. Yeah, I had no idea. Like, I really didn't, but it turns out that my mom did. And so when we got back in touch, we weren't really speaking before all of this. We had a lot to talk about. Because I was like, I think you were right about this stuff, and I read the emails, and she was like, yeah, Hillary's bad. And she was like, you sound like a different person. And I was like, I feel like a different person.
So this actually brought you back together with your mom. Yeah. Because there's like a Reddit forum about like how Q has destroyed my family or my life, or like it's like a Reddit about like families being separated by Q, and I have to wonder how legitimate it is, but that's really cool.
Yeah, I definitely have the opposite story. Like, it turns out that my mom and I are bonding over this, and she's like, most of the family is Trump supporters. And I was like, okay, all right. So I was like, all right, so it's not so bad, like, there's some other small drama, but it just doesn't matter, because, like, my mom's an important relationship, so it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I can handle it. There's definitely somebody that doesn't agree with me, and I'm just trying not to talk about it as much as the positive stuff, because that's been what matters.
You'll be shocked
Okay.
too, I think, of who can actually come around. We were talking, I was actually talking about this last night with Tyler, but you know, we always kind of assumed, some of us, that 4 to 6% was the population that was unable to wake up, basically. And that always seemed really low to a lot of us, because a lot of us, I think, look around and think, none of these people are even close to waking up. But
Right.
I've been shocked at some of the people that I've seen in my own life wake up.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's happening. It's just everyone's, you know, in their own time. But it's coming in waves, and, you know, we're going to have to brace for fall when they try to crack down again and try to act like, you know, COVID is still a thing. So it's going to be a time. It's probably going to get worse before it gets better.
For sure.
But because they're just like, we're losing control. Ah! You know, so
You know,
we got to just, like, try to isolate things and shut down all these accounts and try to clean up the mess. And it's like they're trying to put the water back in the bucket. You're like, buddy,
right?
it's spilled on the floor. What are you going to do? Like, suck it up with a straw? You're done. It's spilling. You can't stop it.
I wanted to ask you, besides, you know, pizza fence, obviously that blew us all away. That and the fact that there's, you know, like Oprah, I don't know if you were around in the 80s or you were just really small, but
I was not born yet.
Okay.
91.
Oprah had us all convinced that Satanists were like, you know, lost 18-year-old kids that sacrificed dogs in some bad neighborhood. Oprah had us all convinced of this. Like, we couldn't possibly imagine. I'm sure there's people out there that could, but I wasn't one of them. And most people that watched Oprah at 3:00 in the afternoon apparently were on my same train. So we had
right.
no. I would have never ever imagined that there was that this was such a prevalent thing, and within the elites and the higher echelons of society and politics. That blew me away. But besides that, I wanted to ask you about when I figured out the big Mike thing. That completely blew me away. Like, I felt so deceived and disrespected and insulted by that, probably more than anything. What about you guys?
It's not like the worst thing for me, but it was definitely like, I mean, like I said, I was a huge fan of Obama, and
Right.
The lie hurts the worst. Like,
Exactly.
it's not about the orientation and the secret itself, because like, there's so much more to it. There's the emails that he was in and everything else, you know, and the hot dogs. So it's just like this ugly cherry on top, you know, that you're just like, oh, and by the way, none of his family is legitimate. They're not who they say they are. His kids don't even look anything like them. There's no pictures of her pregnant. And also this, and this. Isn't that weird? And like, my eyes are like, there it is, you know, and my brain's like, no,
Right?
no. It's hard, you know, but it's like, it's right there, you know, and some people are like, this rabbit hole is a waste of time. And I'm like, it's kind of not to me, because this was my favorite president. And, you know, if you're going to be in that position of power, I think you should be honest with people. Like, they should know who their president is. And we should be, you know, be able to like identify with them and relate to them and know who they are, you know, like they should be for the people, and they shouldn't, you know, because I could see a whole side of America that would have wanted to celebrate that, like, you know, in some sense, if that was all there is, that would have been huge. That would, you know what I mean? But no, that's not what we got.
To me, the weirdest part were the kids, and the fact that the two children look exactly like the Obama's best friends, Marty and Anita Nesbitt.
Yep.
And to me, after I did a lot of research into the bloodlines and seeing how these elite families operate, and one of the things they do is actually kind of adopt their children out to the neighboring families and then marry them back into their own family and things like that. It definitely seems close to one of these practices. And yeah, I thought it was funny when I saw her big old swinging thing on Ellen. You know, to me, I didn't even really care, like, oh, I was lied to. I don't really care about being lied to about that. To me, it's about the kids. That seems so fraudulent, to fake a family, and you're the president of the United States.
Yeah, the
and
whole
also
thing.
very weird. Yeah.
The whole thing.
Not okay.
Is just a big deception, and that's what I have a hard time with. you look to your president, your first lady to be what they appear to be, not some massive lie. Like that was just.
Oh yeah. Not cool.
Yeah.
You know, he was so polished, let's say, and that's something that we would expect to see from, let's call it the Pickle Factory. You know, even though I hated the things he was doing as a president, there were times, and keep in mind, they were really starting to get good at marketing. This is back when they were starting to realize what mimetic warfare was, and to make him look cool and have him pictured with a surfboard. And I have to admit, on some level, that was working on me sometimes. I was like, God, I hate what he's doing, but he looks so cool.
Who, what, Obama?
You know, Obama.
Yeah.
Like,
I
he
never
looks
saw
like
that.
somebody I would hang out with. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Well,
He always seemed like really cool. Like I would smoke a blunt with him.
Right.
right.
Like I'm just so disappointed.
He was like, I listened to Tupac, and like, I know, I saw it too. I always thought that interview was interesting, though, that he did. What was it? Whose show was he on? Where he talked about he made a joke. You know, his many a truth is said and just, right? He made a joke about his alien overlords would get mad or whatever like that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, right?
Well, it seems like every recent president has made kind of a joke like that.
Right.
Yeah, that I can remember. So I don't know.
I think it's because most of the presidents have like a deal with the other beings, because the evil beings are behind a lot of things, and it all started with making a deal with the humans, you know, and the Nazis are like their proteges. So
Yeah. REF says, do you guys remember Banksy's Obey campaign? It wasn't Banksy, it was Shepard Fairey. And actually, when I did my presentation at ESETI, I just spoke at this conference. Actually, Alara and I were both there. It was super cool, this place, ESETI. You have to go there. Anyway, my whole presentation was on mimetic warfare, and I touched on that, how Obama was the first president to have his own meme. You know, he had that, like, the picture of him that was like hope.
Right.
Now we can see what they were doing. They were branding him. These are the tactics that they use on us.
They were playing on our desire to want to be progressive and accepting, and that's human beings' real nature, is to be loving and accepting and tolerant and work together. So they're playing on the fact that they know we desire that. That's another huge part of the manipulation that you know,
I see.
is terrible.
Totally.
Yeah, that and the infiltration, not invasion, is also like their oldest trick in the book as well.
Right.
Totally.
Pretty scary.
So I hear that you're into secret space programs and this kind of stuff, and this is just right up my alley, Judith. So
yes, I love it.
I have to know what interested you in secret space programs and extraterrestrials. Have you had a contact experience or what?
Well, like, I've always had that gut feeling, and I've kind of seen things I can't really explain. I felt like I've been able to, like, see shadow people as a kid, and, like, I just, like, have weird visions that come to me sort of randomly. I feel like sometimes I can, like, sense people's feelings and emotions, like, you know, empathy, like, and impassibility. I've been able to, like, predict what someone's about to say to me, that kind of thing, and respond to them before they say anything, and that's always funny. But on top of that, I've seen, I think, an incident in the late 90s that happened called the Phoenix Lights out here in Arizona. I was just a kid, but I remember being in the back of the car on the highway and seeing the lights that this incident mentions. They're like these ships just kind of parked above the highway, and they looked like street lights just kind of set up in the sky in a really weird, like, 4 at a time kind of pattern, and they were just sitting there, and a bunch of people saw them. And it's like a recorded thing, and I was just like, I remember that. Right. And then when I was 19, I woke up from a dream. I knew I was awake because, like, I woke up because I felt like there was a light in my face, and I thought maybe I left my lamp on. And when I sat up, it was like this ball of light about the size of my fist. It was white, and it was not my lamp. And as soon as I realized what it was, like a disjointed ball of light, it was gone.
Wow. How old were you?
19.
Cool. Was that like, Was that like a pivotal time in your life? It seems like sometimes these things happen. No?
Or wasn't?
Not necessarily. I mean, it was like I was getting out of high school and feeling kind of lost, and I was dating someone that I would marry and then divorce. So it was, I was just sort of not exactly a pivotal time, I would say. It was just very strange and something that I never forgot, because I looked around my room like, I know I'm awake. I was
Right.
like, and there's nobody there to see it, so what are you going to do? And then the other time is we were driving down a road in Flagstaff at night, and above this forest line of trees, I saw this sort of weird looking star, and then I saw it like zip out backwards. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that was not normal. And then it happened fast. It's just gone, right? So on top of that, I've just always had that feeling that the star seed. If you look up symptoms of a star seed, I have like all of them. It's like you feel like you don't belong.
Mm-hmm.
You're sensitive to things. You don't fit in general, and just all of it. I'm like, check.
Right.
And it's just something that I've always felt. And then my grandma just started talking about how she sees UFOs for the first time ever. I had my mom show her a documentary, the Stephen Greer documentary, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. It's like the sister documentary to Unacknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind?
She watched that. Yeah, it says Contact has begun.
I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen Unacknowledged,
really
but I don't think I've
cool.
seen the other one.
I think I've
it came
seen
after. It.
That's not the
after,
scary
so he
one, right?
explains,
That's not the scary one, right?
No, it's not
Okay.
so scary. It's pretty hopeful. He explains like how to contact them, and he explains that we're all supposed to be ascending and like accessing our abilities and like moving forward so that we can join these star nations, really. So it's weird, I've been saying it's almost like my family's being monitored, because my grandma's seeing them forever, my mom's seen them, I've seen them. We've had at least like 1 to 3 strange encounters. Apparently my grandma's had way more than that, and she just never talked about it.
Yeah, people used to be afraid. My dad was an airline pilot, and if you were these guys used to see things all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and if you reported it, that you had a psych eval. They were
my God.
they were gonna call you crazy, so you just knew not to say anything. But same thing. My mom and her friend, I think, saw a huge ship over. They were on a road trip, and there's something that happens when you see something with your own eyes, but you can't really share it. You start to doubt yourself later.
Right.
Like I had that same experience kind of when I was little with an orb, and I know what I saw and I remember it. But of course, there are times that I go through until I hear other people talking about it too, that I'm like, am I tripping? Like, did I make that up?
Yeah.
But I know I didn't.
That happens in time.
It feels like that. So I saw somebody in the comments say that Stephen Greer works for the Rothschilds, and I don't know anything about that, but that's interesting, if that's true.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing, is a lot of these people that we have out here that are doing big work and getting eyes on things might not necessarily be like the whole package. And I never really understood the limited hangout thing, because in my mind I was like, well, it's still waking people up.
Right.
Yeah.
But I guess the whole point is, when you bury like 1% lie and 99% truth, that 1% lie might be the pivotal thing that would advance us to knowing this next major thing or something like that. So I don't know. I mean,
well, the other thing I was just talking about this with the ladies from What on Earth. The people that are helping us, they just really can't tell us everything at once. It's not how it's supposed to work. There's a plan, right? There's a disclosure plan, and like we couldn't handle everything at once. They say that like the truth would put some people in the hospital, that kind of thing. And I'm kind of looking into like controlled opposition and stuff myself, but I also think that there's just limitations. You know what I mean? Like they're also probably like protecting some people they can't reveal yet, or you know what I mean? Like it's hard to wade through it all. But I agree. I think either way, it's helping people think for themselves, regardless.
Totally. Yeah.
I remember thinking that when I was a kid. Like, I remember just being like, okay, so the whole thing that they sell us about how we evolved, and like, we don't know if there's a God, and just the whole thing you're sold and indoctrinated with at school, right? And I remember thinking, well, there's clearly aliens. So, so where are they? Like, and that's kind of like, I've never tripped on the whole, like, are there, like, I've always inherently knew from the time I was little that there was. What I couldn't figure out is how they were hiding. That's the part I didn't understand. And now I feel like I have kind of an understanding of it a little bit. I have a lot to learn, but that to me was the conspiracy. Not the question was never, are there? It was, why are they
where
hiding?
are they?
Where are they? Exactly. Where are they? And how come they don't show themselves? Right.
Yeah, it's funny you got someone in here saying UFOs are fake, but like, there's been so many people who say that they've seen them, they've been on them. Like, I mean, there's a weird sort of disagreement here where people think aliens are a complete illusion or something that we're fed, and I don't know about that, because there are so many people out there who have had similar experiences in different parts of the globe, and in a whole lot of sightings, documented sightings. So the declassified CIA documents, for one thing. So, it's just, we're past saying UFOs are fake. It's it's funny.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, all it really means is it's an unidentified. I mean, what I saw was unidentified. I don't really know. I don't claim to know what it is. I have my own notions about what it is, but I think that's also another beautiful part of the awakening, is that you aren't so married to whatever you think you know. You're just like, well, this is what I think, but I could be totally wrong, and I don't care.
It's true.
Yeah, we have to be willing to be wrong, like, a lot, and just be like, oh, okay, like.
Yep, that's part of evolving and growing. Like, you have to be, and I guess that kind of means you got to kind of remove your ego out of the equation, because you have to be willing that I don't know. Like, I think I have a few things figured out, but I have so much more to learn and figure out, and I'm willing to do that. Like, if new information comes to me that maybe doesn't agree with my current perspective, I have to be willing to take a look at that. So it's part of the Great Awakening, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta do it.
So,
but, I mean, for one thing, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I've just been, like I said, I was digging back into World War II, and what Kennedy was assassinated over, like, one of the things seems to be him asking about these off-planet crafts and, like, atomic energy and, all the things they were hiding. I mean, part of the reason the shadow government was invented was to keep all these things secret, It's just...
CIA was created, like a week after the Roswell incident or something like that.
Yeah, they had to, like, contain it. And then I also discovered that they like to land on native land because natives don't report it to the government.
Yeah.
So that's, like, a huge thing where they're just like, well, we're not going to tell anybody.
It's common knowledge among them. If you talk to Native American people, it's common knowledge that there are extraterrestrials. And this is, like, they don't understand why we don't get it. Like, but I think too, there's a lot of, like, if you really look into it, I think there's a lot of, high strangeness, like maybe stargates, that sort of thing, that is on Indian land.
Well, I think part of the reason that the native people have been so throttled by the deep state is because they were closer to the truth probably than most people, and they passed their information along through stories. So there was no way to destroy their information and what they were passing along the way that you can infiltrate books and stuff that get passed along without killing the people and suppressing, their knowledge, like that way.
Yeah, Keystone just said all natives worldwide know this stuff. It's true. They seem to all know it. Like, they almost look at you like you're kind of, how come you don't know about
where
this?
You at? Yeah.
Right.
Because we watch TV.
Right? Because we watch what the TV tells us. I don't know.
Exactly.
Right?
Man.
It's changed so much, just even in my, I feel old, but I'm really not that old, relatively speaking. And I've watched.
You're old.
Yeah, I'm kind of old. Yeah.
How old are you?
I got the silver to show for it. I am Well, that's a loaded question, but I'll tell you.
And millions.
I'm a really old, so
like we're all infinite.
I will be 42, I think. I'm pretty sure 42 in like a couple months. Yeah.
I had to ask my mom too. I didn't my last birthday. Because I started saying that I was 40 when I was like 36. Because I was like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to be 40. I'm basically dead anyway.
How pessimistic, Kate. That's terrible.
So I started saying,
I'm just going to round up.
She's like, I'm going to claim it. I'm over the hill. I'm just going to claim it.
Right.
And then you're 40 for 4 years, right?
Exactly. So I might as well just start saying I'm 50 now because whatever.
Round up and be 50 for another decade.
It picks up the pace. Every year you go, it picks up the pace, the aging thing. I seem like I just turned 40. I'm like, what? How am I only 42?
Snowball effect, because every year becomes a smaller fraction of your life as you go on. Literally, it's a thing.
Oh, wow. I've never thought about it that way. I've never heard that. That's cool.
Yeah. It's a snowball effect.
How old are you, Judith? Do you mind sharing?
29.
29?
Cute.
That's a good age.
That's adorable.
That's a super good age.
Yeah, we'll get there.
It was not a good age for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
No?
See, you're at the ripe age. Imagine being like our age and waking up and you're like 40 and now you're like, I got to go start a YouTube channel. I got to help.
Well, she's not that far away from us, but I think about the kids that are like, we're kind of in the sweet spot, but you think about people that are older. I mean, my grandma died about 10 years ago and she was 102. And I think about what she saw in her lifetime. I mean, literally horse and buggies when she was older than aluminum foil. And then to see all of the technology. And of course she died 10 years ago.
Older than aluminum foil.
Yeah.
Really, how old is aluminum foil, Kate? I don't even know.
I don't know. It was like 1908 or something. No, 19. I don't know. I used to know because when we had her 100th birthday, it was in the thing. Shut up. Anyway, so and then same thing with my dad. My dad too is like 80. Actually, today's his birthday. Oh my gosh, I just remembered. Oh my God, I'm the worst daughter ever. This is how busy I've been. Holy crap. Anyway, my dad is in his 80s. And think about all of the things he's seen. Yeah. And if he gets to see the Great Awakening too, like that's incredible.
Yeah. It's true.
That'd be really, really cool. I mean, it's crazy thinking about all the people that have been awake for like a long time. You're just like, oh boy, that must be something to just watch all this going down and feeling like it's never going to end. And
nobody believes you. There's nobody to talk to. I can't even.
That must have been so lonely. At least I woke up right at the Great Awakening. But I kind of started to, I would say I was a full sleeper before my wake up. But I kind of suspected after the 9/11 thing, and the stuff started to come out. I was like, I don't think a plane hit the Pentagon. Yeah, I'm not buying that. So.
And there was a third tower nobody talks about.
Right.
You mean Building 7 or?
Yeah, I think
Building 7.
Right? The third one?
Yeah, and that they were reporting that it had fallen. That's literally still up behind them, and they're like, we're getting reports now that the, Building 7 has fallen, and it's literally behind them in a window, and they're like,
Right. I've seen so many different theories on it though. I can't. I've seen the charges go off. Like that's but you can't even trust video nowadays. Like, and then have you seen the CGI thing with the plane going into the tower? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so how many layers are there to this con job here? Like did they actually like demolish? Did they take it down with explosives, or did they use like a directed energy weapon to do it? And they conned us all into thinking. Like, you can do a lot with video, and when you've got control of the media like that, I mean, you can put on one hell of a movie that gets people convinced something happened. And if they already believe in their head, that's what happened. The human mind is a trip. Then they'll see what you want them to see. And I think these people know exactly how they know how to manipulate our minds like that.
I saw an interesting thing. When I was on a flight to Australia one time, and they've got just like random BBC TV on the back of the seat in front of you. I watched some show, and it was talking about perception, I guess. And they would video from like several different angles. They would have somebody run in and steal a woman's purse and then run out. or there would be like this exchange, and then they would interview everybody and ask what they saw. And it was all about how they could manipulate them into really truly believing that they saw this guy do it rather than that guy do it.
Right.
And it was really fascinating. I'll never forget that, because people were just damn sure that they saw this guy take a red purse, and they all saw the same thing, thought the same thing, and it was not. It was like this, when they played it back in slow motion, you saw that's not what happened. Really weird.
Oh, man.
Hey, remember that
That's
clip?
rough.
Did you see that clip, Judith? I think maybe Kate, maybe you might have sent it to me, that looked like they were reporting from some war zone or whatever, and it was the dude with the chopper thing. What was that clip? Do you know what I'm talking about, you guys, in the chat? And
No.
it turns out it was a dude holding a thing like that, and it really looked like a reporter and like a war chopper. I can't remember what it was. This is from a while
I've
ago.
seen the guy holding the baby, and it looks like he's on a motorcycle, and it's just things going past him, and it's just his wife making the tree go past him. Is that what you're talking about?
Maybe that is it. I
It looks
can't
like
remember.
he's on a motorcycle, and he's got the baby strapped to him, and you're watching, you're like, what is this guy doing? And then it pans out, and he's just standing there with the baby, and the woman is going like this with the branch.
Right? No, this was a different one, but
God.
still same idea.
Okay.
That's funny. Yeah, that's social experiments, you know, like we have to show more of those, because we have to prove to people that there's more than meets the eye. And you know, that's been my deal, you know, like, hey, I thought all these things were true, but I finally looked into it because I stopped, you know, being so angry, and so I could figure it out. But I had to reach into my soul and get rid of that anger, and like ask, you know, God or whatever you want to call it, to like take it away from me.
Right.
Because I knew that it wasn't serving me. I knew that it was hurting me. And you know, you can see that some people still have that defense so hard that even when they ask for proof and you put proof in front of their face, it just makes them more angry, because they don't want to be wrong. And it starts with them. So that's what sucks, is for some of these people, you just don't know when if they're gonna get here. But
It would take something massive, but
right.
Yeah.
It did for me. I mean, that's why I'm always trying to understand other people's awakening stories, because mine was just so dramatic. It's ridiculous. Like, it's like a cartoon. But I wonder for other people like Kate's, you know, just to come across a story and have that wake you up, or, you know what I mean? Just to snap out of it one day and figure out what you're seeing isn't exactly what you thought. Or that's what fascinates me, because without some sort of dramatic, like, in your face wake up experience, it that's what I'm always curious to hear, is how somebody woke up, or these people that have been awake like their whole lives watching everything go down and escalate, you know, that fascinates me too.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I feel the same way. That's what I was kind of talking about earlier. I was like, I can't imagine just like knowing all of this the whole time.
Right.
You know,
right.
like,
But because it's all encompassing, because there are so many different topics, I feel like every single one of our, you know, the avenues that we start on that all lead to the same location is going to be personalized. Like for me, it was the pizza stuff because I'm a mom. And so that hit me harder than probably anything could, you know, even though the spiritual stuff has always been really interesting to me. That was always going to be the thing that was going to get to me the most.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't even have kids, and I thought it was messed up, you know, like once I read the emails, it was pretty obvious, and I was just like, this is clearly like some kind of code. And like, you don't get pizza for an hour. That doesn't make any sense. And you know, who's out there ordering $65,000 worth of hot dogs in the middle of the night for a party? And you know, then I started seeing pictures. I saw this one picture of like, it's like a government tunnel with like signs and everything that was like, you know, keep off the property, and outside of the tunnel was a Little Caesars truck, and I was like, okay.
So tinfoil hat, can you
Thank
ask sorry, Judith, if she was on the far left Antifa or the calmish left, calm-ish? Like, were you calm or were you Antifa?
I was relatively calm. You know what I mean? I was like preparing myself for someone to like try and fight me, but I was also just like, I'd rather not. You know, I wasn't going out at night and looking for trouble. I was like going to some daytime protest, you know, with a couple of people walking in a circle with a sign, yelling things. that's really as far as it got for me until I was like, something is like off, because like this is getting pretty intense. I was like, I can't keep doing this, and I'm not going out at night. Like these people are getting arrested, and my mom was like, I can't bail you out, and I was just like, well, I can't risk it. Something is wrong, So it never got crazy. I never was out there like destroying anything. Like I said, it was just all daytime stuff until I was like, I don't trust this anymore,
Yeah.
So I just couldn't let it get too far. I was like, I want to reevaluate,
See, I think that those are the majority, and the violent people are just like, these are the people, these are the provocateurs that are paid to be there and whatever. And you can find some very angry people. But what I wish people in our community would understand, because sometimes I still see people giving others grief for being, an ex-Bernie Sanders supporter, or used to go to Black Lives Matter. If these people would realize that these are actually our biggest allies, that good people get sucked in, they're looking at the right things, but not taking it far enough, I think. Yeah. They're seeing the injustices, but they're laser focused on one thing and not seeing that it's an injustice that really includes almost all of us. And if, once they just make that tiny shift into seeing that scope, these are our biggest allies.
Right. That's
absolutely. True. Yeah, absolutely. Like a lot of people's hearts are in the right place and they want to help, and they're being manipulated. That's pretty much where I was at. I wanted to like show support. I was upset at all these people that were losing their lives. I don't like it either. So
right.
That's the thing. And we can't be shaming each other for where we were at either, because that's what we're giving up. We're giving up bullying and being angry. We have to be treating each other with respect. And if you're not, then you have to just walk away.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't like seeing people in the movement like bullying or being nasty, because that just proves to me that they're not fully awake.
Absolutely.
Right. We're supposed to be encouraging people to walk away.
I agree. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So I wanted to quickly share some of this stuff, important stuff that happened today, since we're on the subject of Antifa. So this just came out. This was like a couple hours before we went live. Breaking 911, President Trump orders federal government to defund New York City and 3 other cities where officials allowed lawless protests and cut police budgets amid rising violent crime. So
yeah,
I thought that was like huge. Like that's a bold move. I was shocked.
Daddy put his foot down, guys.
Right? Like
Isn't that kind of defunding the police? Isn't that what they want? Defunding the police?
No, he's defunding. He's cutting off federal money for the state, because they're defunding police and not taking care of their people. It's like, if you're not going to be responsible with how you govern your, then screw you.
Time out.
He's letting them hang themselves is what they've been monitoring all of this with like drones and satellites and whatever, everything. It's all documented. So he's been letting them hang themselves, and I think they've wanted to, for these radical liberals to expose themselves. These compromised criminal local city governments. He's wanted them to expose themselves, I think, and he's kind of allowed stuff to go on. People are like, why aren't you doing something about it? Well, because we needed to see. It's like Q has told us this, that people need to see for themselves where this is going to go if it's left unchecked.
Sometimes you can't show the public the truth. You can't tell the public the truth. You have to show them.
Absolutely.
Right. I see. That's what I realized once like the hate kind of dropped away from my eyes. I was like, he's like a mirror. I was like, all he's doing is like letting you reevaluate things, because I used to get mad at like every little thing, and there was a bunch of stuff taken out of context I had to go and look back on, because I was just spitting out all the same points that a bunch of other like hateful people were like, oh, well, he's racist because of this, he's homophobic because of this, what about this, so what about this picture? So I went down all of those holes. I was like, okay. So then I found a video of him like denouncing white supremacy and saying that, that's a bad thing. He's already said he doesn't want his supporters starting any fights. And, I found all this stuff in his past I never knew. His connections to Tesla, his connections to JFK Jr. I was like, so he's actually, like, not that bad. And I was like, I mean, he's a little misogynist. He's kind of in his boys club, but he's like, doing a lot of good things right now. So once I found out about the 9 pieces of legislation combating human trafficking, I saw the videos of him being like, we're prepared to like make this a priority and take everyone down. I don't care who you are kind of thing. I was like, oh, okay. You know, I was like, I'm sorry, you know, like my bad.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
Oh no, you know, and so now I just keep finding more things that I'm like, this was hidden from me. I didn't see that. I didn't know that. What about how he helped Vanessa Hudgens? You know what I mean? And all that stuff. So I'm just, everything I find is like, no, he's actually pretty much for the people. You know, I was like, oh,
That's why he's under the attack that he's under. Yep.
Yeah. So I was like, that makes sense if we live in a backwards world, which we do. So
absolutely.
That's like I was saying, you know, before I really came out with it, I was doing TikToks to kind of like lead up to it, and I was like, look, if you were an evil corporation, how would you take over the world? If you were to fight the evil corporation, how would you have to do it? And what would they do to you while you were doing it? I was like, just try to imagine it. You know what I mean? Like, you're living in a mirror world. Evil's taken over. They can poison you with chemicals. How would they like orchestrate control, you know, on a mass scale?
Right.
So, and then what would you do to collapse that? And anyone who wants to interfere, of course, would get the hammer brought down on them. So there's no, I mean, you can look back and see that anyone who's tried to stand up to this, like celebrities, for example, they end up dying for trying to say something. So you would have to be in a position of power. There's no question. Like, you would have to be someone that people would have to listen to. So, like, there's no other choice. You'd have to be the president. And then, of course, people would hate what you do. They try to stop you. I was like, this makes sense. You know, it just made everything make sense. And I was like, okay, all right, okay, I have a lot of catching up to do, you know. Once I put that together, I was like, oh boy.
He's just crazy enough to take it on.
A lot of people.
He's just crazy. Yeah, exactly.
It's insane. And then just the fact that he knew that every day he'd be hated, and every day, you know what I mean, there would be people trying to stop him, and people on the streets who would be misinterpreting the whole thing, and he's just kind of like, well.
That's where his arrogance and his ego are his biggest strength, because no matter who you are, no matter if you love him or hate him, you never feel sorry for him, ever. Yeah. He takes it on the chin like a champ every time. And even if he comes across a little bit like crude or whatever you want to say about him, you never feel sorry for him. He's always just like, you know, kind of tough in that way. I love it.
Yeah, you know, I didn't understand it, but now I do. And I'm like, okay, all right, okay, all right.
Tyler just brought up, are we going to cover the drops? And I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
do you guys mind if I cover the drops real quick? I want to cover
that.
Let's do it. There's a couple videos on Twitter that I think that everybody needs to know about. So let's go to the drops first. As far as, and cover what happened today with that. So
kind of long list here.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be able to go into that. But first we have, you know, the QAnon hits the front page of USA Today. How about that? Right?
We made it, guys.
Right?
We did it. We did it, fellas.
Right? We hit the front page of USA Today, right? And, of course, you know, it's going to be a hit piece, like always. Corrupt, controlled enemies of the Republic. So, yeah. And then files do not go missing unless 7th floor direct involvement. And this drop 4628 actually links to this, which someone, who was it? I think Praying Medic actually posted this. But would you like to go over this one, Kate? What it explains? No?
I don't even know what I'm looking at right now, and I definitely can't read that.
Oh, okay. It's basically just the 7th floor, for those that are kind of unaware of what it is. It's like the corrupt floor. It's kind of like a term. I really couldn't tell you the whole history of it, but it's a term for kind of the deep state. You know, it's this
like the 7th level of hell.
Well, well, except it's basically an actual, it's like an actual floor in a building. But yes, it's the 7th level of hell. You're exactly right, Judith. That's very perceptive. So anyway, so basically Q's saying files do not go missing unless 7th floor direct involvement. Follow the logs. And I think this, largely is in reference to Flynn's missing 302. And, that these kind of things don't happen unless they're directly involved and they cause it to happen. So, and then we've got drop 4630, which is how is blackmail used. And then this long list, which also CJ Truth posted the actual article where all of this came from.
Yeah, there's actually also a thread that I retweeted by Incarnated Fruit. She's at Titan Jen with 2 N's. And she made a thread of each individual article. So that's like the 5th tweet on my Twitter, if you guys want to find that, the 5th tweet down.
The 5th tweet.
So basically what these, if you go to my Twitter and you scroll down like 5 tweets, you'll find that thread. But essentially, what they're doing is going through, they start with the Democrats.
All right, so
but there's a lot of everybody on that list.
But exactly.
So many.
Which is important.
Right.
All right, so it's this one here. So there's
all arrested for child porn.
Yep.
Crimes involving children. Just the scum of the earth. So essentially,
horrible.
Big name.
One after another, after another, and both sides of the aisle. Both sides of the aisle.
Is that like the picture version of the list?
Yeah, it is. It's the article. It's the. I believe those are all of the articles.
The articles.
So you can actually. It's the sauce for everybody. Everything that Q listed. Right. It's the sauce for it. So you can go and see these articles.
Exactly. Q's got them listed here, but these drops are so long, But this is the actual. Incarnated Fruit posted the actual articles for each one of these criminal charges on each one of these individuals. So if you get a chance,
it was the Incarnated Fruit.
Incarnated Fruit, and it's just a long, insane list, and you start to get the picture. Like, these people are all compromised because they're pedos who there was blackmail on them.
It's important to see it like this too, to realize that these aren't just isolated incidents like, oh, you've got a corrupt dude over here, a corrupt dude over here. Like, look at the magnitude of, and what you can do with, judges and politicians and the people of this kind of status. And you own them. They're in your pocket because you tell them like, well, by the way, I've got these pictures. I've got this of you. They're going to do whatever you want, even if they, no matter what they label themselves as.
They don't even get into positions of power in the first place. They don't even get there unless there's blackmail material on you. That's just And that's how things got to be so bad, is because of this dynamic. And so drop 4634, why did it take a political outsider to finally confront China?
Now, what is that in reference to exactly?
Well, Trump. He wasn't a politician.
Of course.
And they've dug so much on him and they don't find anything. He's squeaky clean. This man is squeaky ass clean. And it's because I think possibly because of his connections to Tesla. I believe he grew up with a knowledge from his Uncle John about the way that the world works. I think that his uncle saw that when he examined the Tesla papers, that the lengths that these people will go to maintain power, even to the point of enslaving humanity, keeping us under their thumb. And, he possibly grew up with that knowledge, and it's why he never smoked, drank, did drugs.
Right.
He knew the kind of world that he was going to be getting himself into.
It's almost like he knew he was going to take this job, and, who else could have done this but a very wealthy outsider that doesn't.
That's what I'm saying is like, how would you have to do it?
Yeah.
He's always donated his salary. He's not. That's the thing I have to wonder with people is like, take a look at what the man has to gain and what he has to lose. And that will tell you a lot right there about his motivations, Yeah.
Totally.
It's so insane. And then, like, again, a lot of people like want to regurgitate the same points that are pretty easily refutable at this point. Like a picture of him and Epstein at a party, a public party where a bunch of people were at, doesn't prove anything. His name isn't on any of the flight logs. There was one flight he went to before Epstein bought the island to New Jersey. You know what I mean? In the late
He
80s.
hitched a ride
So,
with
Yeah.
Epstein's brother from, I believe, Mar-a-Lago, or no, from Daytona
Right.
to New York or New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, the more I learn, the more I'm just like, oh, well, I was wrong, again, I was wrong. So, like, that's why I've been so adamant about trying to tell people where I was at, because, like, I can't find anything, you know. I really hated him. I believed in the mainstream narrative. I was reading the news every day like it was my little I hate Trump injection every day. And then it all just unraveled.
Right.
And I keep finding more and more stuff, and I was looking for the things everyone was talking about. I was like, okay, well, what about these court cases? And then it was like, oh, well, a lot of them are made up. A lot of them are falling through. None of them are sticking. Nothing's happened with them yet. They couldn't impeach him. Why is that? You know, all that stuff that used to make me angry, I've looked into, and I'm just like, well, I can't find anything.
Right.
I like that you called it your daily injection too, because that made me think it's interesting. I wonder if on some level it does become an addiction for people to need to hate him, you know?
Yeah, it's a scapegoat.
Because there is
Nothing makes
adrenaline
sense
that
otherwise.
comes with that, with hating somebody so viciously. And you can, obviously we know you can get addicted to those adrenaline rushes.
Yeah, I think hate has become this like huge trend that people bond over, and it's all over the internet, you know, and TikTok has been a huge kind of like, I don't know, what do you call it? A host of that, I guess.
Right.
Petri dish.
I was seeing a whole lot of just like the polarization of both sides just sort of talking crap about each other, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it gets just tiring after a while, you know, and like I said, like we can't keep bullying each other. It's just not the energy we need to be putting out, like, regardless. It's just exhausting, doesn't get us anywhere, you know what I mean? And you can't be mad about how long it takes someone to wake up either, because we just have to be happy that we get there.
Right.
Because the programming is so bad, it's gone on for so long, and, you know,
And we're all
there's some
victims
people
of
that
it.
straight up just might not make it, you know, and I don't know.
You know, you were talking about how you were censored so bad, and you know, this is like a daily thing for patriots, is to be censored. But this video I saw on several different sources today, it was actually all over the place when people caught on that it was happening. But I'm going to bring it up through Carly's. Carly tweeted it out, and it came originally from Lisa, Truth Seeker. This is very alarming, you guys, because it's now going from censorship to not here yet, but in Australia, where they're going to arrest people. I'm going to let this speak for itself and show everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to play this right now. And so let's covfefe.
Let's covfefe.
That's right. There you go. As of now. Okay. So here's the video.
Before you go through my house.
You're the occupier or tenant?
Yeah, I own this house.
There it is. There's a search warrant.
Search warrant for what?
Now, what I will explain to you is if you want to listen, you got your phone going.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Right. Now, you're under arrest in relation to incitement.
Incitement?
Yeah. Now, you're not obliged to say or do anything, but anything you say or do may be given evidence.
Excuse me, incitement for what? What on earth? Excuse me, what on earth?
So just put your phone down.
Can you, like,
relation
record
to-
this? I'm in my pajamas.
What's
I have
this?
an ultrasound in an hour. because
Yeah,
I'm
she's
pregnant.
pregnant, so
I'll take it easy.
What's
In
this
relation
about?
to
But
a
I have an
face-
ultrasound
Just let me
in an
finish.
hour.
Let me finish and I'll explain. In relation to a Facebook post, in relation to a lockdown protest you put on for Saturday.
Yeah, and I wasn't breaking any laws by doing
You
that.
are actually, you are breaking the law. That's why I'm arresting you in relation to
In
incitement.
front
How
of
can
my
you
children,
arrest her?
In
That's-
front of my 2 children.
Can't you just say to her, take the post down? Like, come
I'm
on.
happy to
Not obliged.
delete the post. This
Yeah,
is ridiculous.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I have to give you these caution and rights. You understand?
Yeah, that's
You're
fine.
not-
Like, I'm
not
happy to
obliged
delete the
say
post.
do
This is
anything.
ridiculous. Like,
Anything
this
you
is
say
in front of
do
me. That's
may be
fine.
giving evidence. You understand that?
Yeah, that's fine. But my 2 kids are here. I have an ultrasound in an hour.
Let me
Like,
finish.
I'm happy
Let
to
me
delete
finish.
the post.
You also have the right to communicate with or to communicate with a legal practitioner. You understand those rights?
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is a bit unfair. Come on, mate.
No,
What about she just doesn't do the event? Like, it's not like she's done it.
Well,
She
you've
made a
already
post.
committed the offence. So I'm not going to
So that's an offence.
Now, the search warrant entitles us, and we're required to seize any computers, any mobile devices you have.
Yeah, can I just get your badge there, mate?
It's all there. Okay? You understand?
No, I don't really understand what's gone wrong. I really don't understand what's
Told you under
wrong.
arrest, you've got to
This is a lot of stress on her too. She's pregnant, like, come on. I'm relaxed.
So yeah, that's
Man.
that's extremely alarming.
That's rough.
Arrest.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, Australia has become an absolute cautionary tale of what happens when you give up your guns, guys. You know, they've got drones patrolling the streets. They're, you know,
yeah, I have that.
yeah, they're trying to, you know, force vaccinations. You're not allowed to leave the country. You're not allowed to, you know, leave your house. It's scary. It's very scary.
It's very scary.
I don't know. I mean, just wondering when that's going to end. I mean, what's going to happen here? Like,
Well, this is to me, you know, whenever, because these things just terrify the crap out of me. When I see people getting arrested in front of their children and stuff like that for the things, let's face it, we're basically doing, you know, just trying to tell the truth, just trying to open eyes.
They said, give me your phones and computer too. They're going to seize.
Yeah.
And the husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. But to me, I have to think on the level, I keep coming back to you're watching a movie, because I really freaking hope that even if this is real, that it's not, they're not going to really, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. All I know is that freaks me out.
yeah, it's scary, you know, and what's worse is that, like, a lot of this can be fake, staged, acted out. You know what I mean? It can be used to show us, like, they could be crisis actors. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. It's out of context. It's not that I don't believe it, but with everything else that's happened, it's like, that's something that scares a lot of people. So I have to take a second look and think about it for a moment, because, you know, we can't like let fear lead us. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's what they try to do.
Okay,
Paula Russo says they're stopping Save the Children rallies in Hawaii, and actually arresting people that are trying to speak the truth. I believe that's what she just said, but the comment left. But
it's awful.
With all that being said, we do have some winning here. If this is accurate, this video that I came across by Drabonchi, it's at DAFIBONACCI. If you guys want to check this out, this is kind of like a step in the right direction. If this is accurate, I just stumbled across this today. Let me play it for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Let's check this out. Kofefe. Let's see here.
Cindy Papo Decorado.
You are served. You are served. You are served. You are served.
In the future, please do not approach the dais, or you'll have you removed from the chamber. Please get off here and get back to the microphone. If you have something to give to us, you can give it to the clerk or a member of the county staff.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let me share what I just served. I just served a non-negotiable notice of complaint. This non-negotiable notice of complaint is being filed today, Tuesday, September the 1st, 2020, at the Board of County Commissioners meeting in Palm Beach County, Florida. The non-negotiable notice of complaint is to inform the Palm Beach County Mayor, Dave Kerner, Vice Mayor Robert S. Weinroth, Palm Beach County Commissioners Melissa McKinley, Gray K. Weiss, Matt Bernard, Mary Lou Berger, and Hal R. Valashay, and the Palm Beach County Administrator, Verdina C. Baker, of the following violations. You are all under violation and operating outside of your oaths of office, and both the Florida State and the U.S. Constitution. You are all acting outside of the authority of your office and do not have the governing authority to shut down Palm Beach County and mandate anything. You are all in violation of Florida state and federal constitutional law. You are all in violation of the people at large unalienable rights. You are all in violation of the following codes. 18 U.S. Code 241, 18 U.S. Code 242, 18 Code U.S. 245, 18 U.S. Code 1962, 18 U.S. Code 1031, 18 U.S. Code 1038, and 18 U.S. Code 1341 and 42, and U.S. Code 1983, 42 U.S. Code 1985, 42 U.S. Code 3617. This is an official notification of your violations. You need to understand this. No one is above the law. And legislation law on obligation under 42 U.S. Code 1986, a duty.
No one is
Damn,
above the
doggy.
law.
I love it.
Okay, we're good.
Just wanted to say really fast. Foyle said she had to deal with that video at her work, and it is real. I believe she's talking about the one from Australia.
Okay.
That is like winning right there. Like, that is so encouraging to see, you guys.
Really
that
cool.
People are starting to fight back. And between that and the breaking 911 tweet about Trump defunding the cities that are allowing this corruption to go on, like, that is winning, you guys. Like, that is progress. Like, that gives me.
That's pretty epic. She's like,
bitches got served.
And you,
Yep.
and you, and you, and you. I was like, oh, damn.
Because that is what they were doing, and they're guilty, and these people need to be held accountable for what they're doing. I mean, then look at the new CDC numbers that are out. It's obvious now, and they're even censoring us trying to report just the numbers. They're saying
they're
it's
saying
debunked,
that's
and
not
then you're
real. Like, don't listen to them.
But like, here's the link to the
They're
CDC.
the CDC.
and they hide
These
it,
are
and
the
they
numbers
remove
that we
accounts.
used to. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. And but when everybody sees that and realizes that the number is actually under 10,000, we've been completely duped, and they're still demanding that we wear masks.
People should be freaking out over it, but then they're so quick to be like, no, it's still serious. You know what I mean? Even though it's out, people don't believe it.
People in your daily life that you talk to, are they still buying into it, you think? Like, the people that you are closest to, are they still buying this whole thing? Or are they starting to kind of be like, wait a second?
I don't really I don't see a bunch of people all the time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
It's like, my mom knows what's up, and you know, I don't have like I said, I don't go out and hang out with people. I don't have a circle. I have some people that I knew from my previous job, and you know, like an old neighbor kind of thing, and just people that I talk to like and message every once in a while. But there's some people that that were already kind of here, that we get along a little bit better now, and you know, that's good. But
how about like social media? Do you still follow some of those people that you used to hang out with or whatever on social media?
Not so much. Once I made my new account, you know, I've just been waiting for people to come back to me, because I figure if they do want to follow along, they'll come with me and I'll find out who's who, you know. You know, there's been a couple of old friends that are like, whoa, what are you doing? You know what I mean? That's crazy. And then had like a brief confrontation with someone who I was like, you've just been watching me to like get entertainment, so you can leave now, you know. And
Right.
And he insulted me before he left, and I was like, you were not my friend the entire time. You know, and it's fine, you know, because once they do that, they tell on themselves, and I don't need to have hurt feelings about that. They're doing me a favor, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I'm just taking it day by day.
Kate's on
Sorry,
it.
go ahead.
No, you're
I was
on
going
it.
to say, people are really interested about, you know, what happened with your former associates or your former liberal friends. I think you kind of you answered that. I mean, I did the same thing. I kind of just started a new account and like didn't look back, and those people have been finding me too. So you've got people finding you now, and
yeah, you know, like I noticed my Instagram account has been the same this whole time, so I've been able to see some evolution there. And you know, I'm still checking every once in a while who's looking at my like story, but you know, sometimes the list is too long. But you know, I'll either block people or I'll let them hang out until they kind of cross that line, you know. And then some people have already blocked me, and I've noticed, you know, who's not really watching anymore, and I'm like, it's fine, you know. This just feels like a chapter in my life that's ending, a new one's beginning. It doesn't bother me because like I said, I've always felt kind of isolated and disconnected up until all this happened. Nothing really made sense to me. You know what I mean? So it's okay. Like I'm ready to move on. I'm not really worried about the people that are mad.
Sports Bro says, I feel for you, Judith. We're here for you. Happy to have another soldier in the crusade for freedom and truth.
Oh, so, thank you.
Yeah.
I've been kind of keeping my eye on the comments on the side here. It's funny.
I think we all feel that way.
Yeah.
You tagged me in a tweet the other day, and just the love that was coming through. I mean, they were responding to you, but because I was tagged in the tweet, I was seeing it too. People freaking love you.
Right.
It's cute. Like I'm still getting used
cute.
to it, you know. What's going on over there? My cats are acting up. Like I said, it's overwhelming, and my phone is just nonstop now, and I launched my merchandise store, and I've just been really excited about all that, and I feel like I'm breaking free of literally everything, I've never fit into any jobs. I've always been frustrated at jobs. I just want to work for myself. I don't want to go back to the system and work a 9-to-5 for the government to take like all of my money, and leave me with a fraction of it. I'm just so tired of it all. So that cat's going crazy right now. She's doing that thing where she's like bouncing off the walls. But I'm happy, and it feels freeing. So, but I'm also like very aware of how I'm stepping into a battleground, and people are losing their shops, their accounts, their friends, they're this, they're that, there's controlled opposition. That person might not be 100% good, you know what I mean? And I have to go through like all of that suddenly, it's because I'm reaching a turning point, where, like I said, I kind of have to take a break from interviews. I feel like my story is pretty much out there, and sort of in this new chapter of like, what can I do for people next, So I want to keep the good vibes going. But yeah, I think I'm entering a new phase here, and by the end of the year, things will be different for me. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's great when people can, you build up momentum. It doesn't mean you can't change directions later. So the people that are still kind of stuck in what is my role in this? How am I going to best wake people up? Just get started, and it will morph later. You'll start to find your voice better. You'll start to figure out exactly what it is that is your job in this. And right now, obviously, you are somebody that is very relatable, and you're taking people with you on this journey, and you're not an anonymous person. People you look like somebody that I would have been friends with when I was young and cute.
You are still cute. What do you mean?
But Keystone made a good point. She was like, aren't these people seeing all of her followers that she has now, and isn't that saying something, don't you think, to some of the people that you were friends with?
Yeah, you would think, and that, especially in like the first couple weeks of my awakening going viral kind of thing, in the first few days, everyone who was following me before like could see what was going on. And I had this kind of brief incident where someone I knew didn't like what was going on, and they like confronted me via Instagram because they were offended by something on my story. And, we got into it for a second, and I was like, look, like, I'm glad you're coming at me like this, because it just means like it's easier for me to just block you and let it go. I was like, it's fine. But right after that, I jump over to Twitter after I block him on Instagram, and it opens up to him like vague tweeting about me, like joining a cult and looking really stupid, and that kind of energy. And I was like, huh. So I retweeted it, and I was like, imagine watching your friend going through something really positive and hating it. And somebody doxed him, and I felt terrible. I didn't know it was going to be like that. It was like 4 days into getting followers. I had like 40,000 followers, and I guess somebody went after him, and it was not my intention. I wasn't trying to set people on him at all. And it ended up being like kind of a whole thing for the rest of the day. I was just like, oh, like, his girlfriend got in touch with me because I wasn't going to answer the phone, and it got really weird for a second, and she was just like, if you don't talk about us, we won't talk about you. And I was like, that's fine, I don't care.
Yeah, that works. You don't realize your power now.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, okay, all right, okay. So I've been conscious about who I confront and everything, but in general, I also just want to like be myself, and it's just, I don't want anybody to be doing that kind of thing. We're trying to have conversations,
Yeah.
We don't need to do that. So
no, on some level, I feel bad for people who have tweets or something like that go viral all of a sudden, because it's one thing when you're like doing something cute for like the people that you follow, and then all of a sudden it's got the world's eyes on it, and you're getting critiques from people. Everyone's giving you their opinion about it. That's why there's been a guy that keeps tagging me in this video of his kid actually saying some really cool stuff. And I know he wants me to retweet him, but I don't want to, because like, I know what comes along with, pushing stuff like that out. And then it's like a feeding frenzy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. You have to kind of pick and choose. And that's why I can't follow every single person back. And I'm reevaluating a lot of things and a lot of people. And I'm meeting everyone for the first time, so I'm making up my mind about things, and I'm just taking it all in, still like
it's a lot.
I have a lot to catch up on just since May, and when I officially, like, let's say, came out of the Q closet or whatever in like July.
That's awesome.
And that's what it feels like, and it's just like, you know what? I think Trump's a good guy, because that's not something that I ever wanted to say. So that's what I'm trying to make people realize. Like, I didn't want that to be true. Why would I say that?
Right.
So it just, I try to emphasize that, like, I came from a pretty harsh place where I was upset all the time, and I was like rage tweeting at the president and not understanding anything, and you could see it. And then they took away my Twitter,
Right.
I had to make a new one. It's just been really weird. And now TikTok is like every other thing I do, they take it down. So like, I get really frustrated, and I'll only use it as a tool for like a couple days, and then I'll post a few like fun short ones to try to get back into it. But it's really pissing me off.
The struggle is real. It's totally real. But I can't blame them. I really can't. Like, just that cover of USA Today just says it. I mean, we go through this stuff on a daily basis, so it's obvious. Every other word is conspiracy theorists, right-wing extremists. I mean, Judith, would you say that we're right-wing extremists, Q people?
No, everyone's
does that even
just,
fit
like,
our? We're all different
on the internet.
Yeah, we're all
everyone's
completely
so
different. like it's.
I had no idea,
Martin Geeds, is that how you say his last name?
I don't know how to say it.
Geddes?
Yeah.
He posted, there was a website you could go to, and you take this quiz, and it shows you where you lay on the scale from left to right, and I think authoritarian to whatever. And I took it because I'm like, I want to see how far right I am, and I was like, just right of center and like a little bit down. And most people, so I saw a lot of people taking it that are in the Q community. Same thing. We're all kind of in the same vicinity. Like, nobody is extreme anywhere.
Right.
There were lots of people on the left, And
we're out here like, okay, guys, everybody be nice and be chill and don't give them a reason. You know what I mean? And they're just like scary, alt-right, Q, Nazis. And we're just like, wait a minute.
It's crazy.
Like, wait a minute. And I think I helped someone kind of like realize that Q wasn't all that bad, because one day I posted like, hey, they're trying to make Q look crazy, and look at this post. And it was that one that's like, about unity and getting along. And you guys know which one I'm talking about. So like, I had someone who was like, wow, I was like, look at what they're censoring. Look at what we're about. Look at it.
I got semi-cued with that one. That was that meme. It's off center because I cropped it. They took it from me. It was pretty awesome. I didn't get cued directly, but that's my claim to fame, guys.
I mean, our theme is where we go, one we go all, and that has different meanings and layers to it too. But that's like, it's all about unity and peace and love and higher consciousness and exposing the corruption and freeing our whole planet of enslavement of every kind and stepping into the new earth paradigm. And like, and it's crazy how that the mainstream media has been able to take literally a movement that's about that and distort it into something that's so the opposite. But I don't blame them. If you really listen, people that listen to the news, like, I get why they're so angry. They really believe that You know, they don't, I just, all I can do is pray that they have their awakening moment. They see something that triggers them to question, you know, where they're getting their information or you know, that's,
Yeah, you know, because there's things like Snopes out there that people try and use to, I know, it's funny how people just start laughing immediately because like my brother tried to fight me with Snopes and he tried to fight my mom with Snopes and we're both just like,
right.
I
love that look. That looks great. I've seen a GIF with that look. I love it.
Yeah, exactly that. You're just like, buddy, do you know the history of Snopes? It's like two people in a basement who have
have no research experience whatsoever.
No.
They're not researchers. They're
paid.
Yeah. So
I hate that.
Do you guys out in the audience have any more questions for Judith before we start to close up the show? Everybody really, I noticed somebody said earlier, I'm not sure who it was, but said, make sure and take time to, I know that you meditate, don't you, Judith? Didn't I hear you say something about that in a past interview? Yeah, that's so
definitely
important.
Like a lot of the days, I try to sit down on my mat on the floor and like I have this lamp that changes colors. I put it on purple because like purple's a healing color. And I'll listen to frequencies and think about what I'm grateful for and try to just like think about what I accomplished that day and try to put out any negative thoughts and just be like, no, I can't think like that. And I don't consent to negative thoughts. And this is what I'm grateful for. I'm still here. All the bad days are over. Like I have a bed, my bills are paid right now, like everything is okay, like I just opened a shop, like I should be like proud, like, so that's just where I'm at right now, is just taking it day by day, and I try to sit and just reflect on it, in the best way that I can every day and keep that good feeling going and go to sleep with it,
Absolutely. We all have to have these spiritual practices. It gets to be too much sometimes. I do a lot of the similar stuff that you do, and it's what keeps me grounded, and I see how crazy acting I get, and I mean, it's obvious when I'm not, doing that stuff, and grounding is super important too, especially with the energy.
I can get like really irritable sometimes myself, and I have to be like, hey, you need to smoke and go sit down.
Right.
Take a break.
Yeah.
Will you let everybody know what projects you're working on, where they can find your stuff? I'll make sure and link it in the description below. I need to get that from you. But can you let everybody know where to find you and what you're working on?
Yeah, so like I said, I just opened up my merch shop. It should stay under the Q radar because it's really just me and my quotes and my name. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to like inspire people to start these conversations.
Yeah.
So my first quote on it's like on a tank top, a baseball shirt, a t-shirt, and a mug, right? And it says, evil is a cult that fills you with rage and makes you believe it's courage. And there's a little one eye as like sort of a reference, to conspiracy, but in the eye is a heart. And I found it under the little like gay pride icons clip art, you know what I mean? So that's where I found it from. So I just wanted to take these things and flip them and be like, look at the world with love instead of hate. And so that is in my shop, judithrose.co or judithroseshop.com. But judithrose.co has all of my stuff, like all my social media, other than Parler, which is judeofarc1111. I do sell some of my old music tracks, and I am working on releasing a new one with my collab partner. Every Friday this month, we're going to be putting something out in relation to it, and it's called Wake Up. I'm really excited about it, and it's got like Illuminati references, and it's like really like a positive vibe. It's a pop song with no swear words. Like I'm so hyped because I think it could literally play like everywhere.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. So I'm just going to be blasting it like crazy when it officially comes out because, we're doing it right. Like I have a publisher. We have a release date where, you know what I mean? We've got it all planned out. We're working on it for weeks. So this is our baby, and I'm very excited.
That's super cool. Music. We need more of that Great Awakening music. We have a few good rappers, but we need all genres. Like I wish more and more people that are musically gifted would get involved and start making music.
We've got a country singer. We've got Lala. I don't know.
Oh
if she's
yeah,
still
we
here.
have Lala.
Lala.
She's a country singer.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting a few. Well, we have Rachel, and she's a pop singer. So we have quite a few that I can think of, but we can't get enough of the Great Awakening music. You know, people that are woke, that are singing about positive things. Like, we can't have enough of that. You know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Definitely. So I can't wait for everyone to hear that. But on top of that, I'm just kind of like I need to do some research. I need to catch up on some things. You know, think about what I want to create next. I just want to keep creating. I have a Patreon. I have a Subscribe Star. You know, all this stuff that I can, like, you know, start paying more attention to now that I have my shop up and running, because that was like my big project for the past couple weeks, was like studying the interfaces, getting it all connected, and all that stuff. So finally ready to take a short break and take a mini vacay this weekend. It's my grandma's birthday. So, you know.
happy birthday,
Awesome.
Grandma.
Well, it's well deserved.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been nonstop, you know, like just talking to as many people as I can, as often as I can. But I definitely want to like start, you know, focusing inward a little more after all this, and figuring out what I can put out to keep people going, for
Right.
sure.
Cool. You've
That's
been such a
awesome. Well,
huge
we're-
inspiration to the whole
Thank
movement.
you.
We're so grateful to have you and your beautiful
New
green hair.
friends.
Yes.
Happy to have a
Yay.
new friend.
A new friend.
you.
A new FREN that lives here too,
Friends.
in the hot state.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Yeah, God, I'm so sick of this heat. What is it like? It's a nice like 80 to 89 degrees right now. Let me see.
Right? That's like
That's not too
paradise for
bad.
us, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we're
97.
winning.
Bundle up.
Yeah.
Nope, it's like 97.
Oh, well.
It's still better.
That's
all right.
Hey, I mean, that's still fine. So,
Oh, man.
would you
Well,
like
it's been
to
really
go
cool
ahead?
to hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime. Literally, I've already
Yeah.
been watching people be like, you guys have to have her back.
Yeah, definitely.
So anytime.
Absolutely.
Maybe we could do one in person. We all come and hang out at my house.
Yeah,
go
anytime.
swimming.
That would be cool. And anytime you want to go spaceship hunting, you want to do a CE5, Judith, you know who to call.
Ooh.
Just saying. You know,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
like, we're totally
be
into
cool.
that. We just got back from
I
East
love
City.
that.
Me and Kate were there, and like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
you would love it.
Nice.
Ships
For
everywhere.
sure.
Ships everywhere.
Sweet. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting. You know, I hope First Contact isn't ruined. I don't want them to do this like false flag thing, you know, where they try to scare everybody, but we can't be afraid.
Nope. And it'll be up to us to be like, listen, everyone, pump the brakes.
Right.
It ain't real.
Yeah. No.
Hey, let me just tell you. Let me explain to you about this. I do Space Force news on Sunday nights on my channel, and I just started doing it with my good friend Foyle, who's just an amazing researcher and a very brilliant girl, and we just started doing it, and it's a lot to take on, you know, because I feel like nobody's doing it, and there's a lot there, you know. There's a lot to the Space Force thing, which I'm not going to go into, but anyway, it's a challenge, and you know, I feel like I'm up for the challenge, and so I'm kind of enjoying that new project, and it'll be interesting to see where it
Awesome.
goes, you know, considering the
It's so awesome.
disclosure
It's so
of
awesome.
stuff, and you know, I'm hoping, you know, in time I can be a part of that process. That's the reason I do it. So
Awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
I definitely can't wait for that.
right. I can't wait till they decloak the ships, and I'm not gonna give up.
God.
Yeah. So anyway, next week, you guys, Niara Isley, speaking of spaceships, Niara Isley will be on with us. She's a secret space program whistleblower. You might be into checking that out, Judith. Yeah, she was in the military
Ooh, that's cool.
and has had some pretty
Okay.
crazy experiences. I think she was in Above Majestic, pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, do you remember
love that
seeing her?
one.
I think she was
I
the
watched
only
that a
female.
couple times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that a few times, and I've been following Laura Eisenhower and stuff for a little bit on Twitter too.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. That'll be a
Interesting.
lot of fun, and hopefully you can stop by, because I know that's your cup of tea too. She'll be taking, you know, questions, of course. On all
If you're
the
not still
weirdness,
napping.
right?
Right. Yeah, I have to kind of see how this break goes. But when are you guys doing that next week, the same time?
Next week, same time, Wednesday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. On
Yeah, just
Kate's
come
channel.
chat. Come
Yeah.
chat with your cat.
right?
Yeah.
Come
he's
chat with
always
your cat. That
bugging
was
me.
good, Kate.
He's always bugging me when I'm doing stuff. Every time I try to take a TikTok video, he's like following me into the bathroom screaming, or wherever I'm going. He's like, yeah. I'm like, shut up.
Did you guys see when Red Pill had his dog and cat fight on?
Oh, that was hilarious.
So good.
Did you
So
see
good.
that,
My
Judith?
favorite thing ever.
I don't think I saw it, but I heard
so good.
about it.
It's my favorite thing ever.
Oh, you gotta see it. There's no explaining it. You just have to see it. Like, it's really that funny. It's great. It's like a classic moment in
I'll
our
send it to
history.
you.
In the Great Awakening history is Red Pill's cat and dog fight in his studio when he was live. So
That's great.
right.
We had a good time on Red Pill. That was fun. I chatted with
Yeah,
him.
good guys.
Yeah.
It's a lot of awesome people in this movement. Really is. A lot of awesome people.
Big happy
So,
family.
Yay.
It was wonderful to, I want to say thank you to the mods. First of all, we really appreciate you guys. And thank you to everyone
Thank
who
you,
was here
mods.
tonight to support us on our first night and our first show. And Judith, it was super awesome hanging out with you. Thank you.
Yeah, good to officially meet y'all. Thank you so much for
You
having
too.
me.
And I guess with that, we will go ahead and close the show. Well, did you want to say something, Kate? Go for it.
No, I just wanted to say see you guys next Wednesday right here, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern.
Yes, and with that, good night, Patriots. We'll see you next week.
Good night.